Welcome to Epic Conversations. I'm Diane, and I'm here today with my special husband, John Grovis. And so he's my cutie pie, but I'm the only one allowed to call him that. Okay, so cutie pie? John, we are going to talk about a wonderful story that you heard about paying it forward.
Yes.
So would you like to share?
Basically, I was watching Facebook. On Facebook they had about a 28, 29-year-old gentleman. He had his daughter with him. And they're in the store buying some meat, bread, mayonnaise, and a cake. And they took all the money they had out of their pocket and they put it on a table. Mind you, there's a line behind them. And the lady behind the cashier, she's kind of not the pleasantest person you want to meet. She's chewing bubble gum, and how should I say, they didn't have enough money. So the guy said, well, take the mayonnaise away. See how much? Nope, we're still short. So take the cake away. And the little girl saying, no, Daddy, don't do that. It's for Grandpa's birthday. And so they had to take the cake away. And they had to take a few other things away. And meanwhile, there's a guy, young guy, maybe 25, he's in the back in a line. He's watching everything going on. And then the couple, the father and the young daughter, they leave the store and they're walking. And then they stop and they say, Daddy, we really needed that cake for Grandpa. It's his 76th birthday. And then the father looks and basically they had financial troubles. And they walk a little bit, then all of a sudden you can hear a voice and saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And there was that guy, young guy, and he had a bag. And he handed them a bag.
The young guy that was in line.
Yeah, exactly. And we handed them a bag, and what was in it was the mayonnaise, all the food that they had put back, he had bought for them.
And the cake too?
And the cake. And what had happened was the guy and the father and the young daughter looked at him and said, well, why did you do this? And he talks about when he was younger, him and his mom were homeless. And they went into the store to buy something, and they didn't have nearly enough money. And this guy comes along and bought it for them, and the guy with the father with the daughter said, oh, what can we do? And the young guy who bought the food for him, now we're moving up in the story, hands him a piece of paper and it said "Pay it forward," and it had a smiley face. And so they thanked him and off they went. And they went home and there was their the young lady, her grandfather was there, and they brought the cake in. They sang happy birthday to him. And the grandfather was sitting there looking, they happy to have the cake, and they blew it out. And the grandfather's son and his granddaughter said, Grandfather, what's the matter? And he says, I'm 76 years old today, and I wanted to know if my life counted for anything. And then the grandfather says, where did you get the money to buy all this stuff? I know you really have some financial issues. And he talked about the story of this young man buying it all for him. And then he pulls out this little piece of paper and he said, pay it forward. And it was the grandfather who had bought the food for that boy and his mother when they didn't have anything. And so I go to look at it. It's touching, and you look at it because it's emotion and a human being reaching out, regardless of the nationality, because the people in this case, the grandfather and the young daughter and the son were African American, and then they had this other guy who was a white guy, and it was kind of see the story of this going back and forth. It really doesn't matter the nationality. It was of the heart for each person. And
that's a beautiful story.
And so it's called pay it forward. In other words, that guy in the future to help somebody else down the road, regardless whatever the circumstances are. And so I think of that and say help people, not just opening doors, but if you can financially help somebody in the future, whatever God puts on your heart at that point in time.
Amen. That's beautiful. Can your life count for something? Yes, it can. And so we say, pay it forward. And we thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And in the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord.